Russia and the Syrian regime have suspended their airstrikes on Aleppo ahead of Thursday's 8-hour humanitarian pause. The temporary truce will allow for both civilians and rebel fighters to leave the city. The announcement of a temporary ceasefire was made on a day of intense bombardments that left dozens of people dead. Meanwhile, Russia has urged moderate opposition forces in eastern Aleppo to separate from what they're calling terrorist entities.
Either they move out of the city or they separate from Nusra and recommit themselves to cessation of hostilities regime. But something needs to be done about Nusra. Well, first of all, the moderates need to be separated from them, and then Nusra has to leave the city, or it will be confronted by some unpleasant consequences.
Shamim Chowdhury joins us now live from Gaziantep. Shamim, Russia seems very keen in destroying one group in particular, Jabhat Fateh al-Sham, formerly known as al-Nusra. Why exactly is that?
Well, Jabhat Fateh al-Sham is regarded as a terrorist organization, not just by Russia, but by the US and the UN as well. It hasn't taken part in any of the diplomatic talks that have been happened over the recent years, and it hasn't been involved in any of the ceasefire deals as well. Now, Russia is saying that unless Jabhat Fateh al-Sham is removed, there can be no talk of any kind of a ceasefire or any kind of diplomatic negotiations about any kind of political peace process forward. Now, the problem is Jabhat Fateh al-Sham have quite a strong presence in eastern Aleppo, hence the Russian bombing. The Russians say that they've been invited in by the Syrians to get rid of this terrorist organization. Now, we think there's about 1,000 or so of them in eastern Aleppo, and they are hugely outnumbered by the moderate rebel groups, of which there are about 10,000 or so. I mean, those numbers aren't accurate, but this is what we have some inclination of. Now, the issue is that many of these moderate groups have connected themselves with Jabhat Fateh al-Sham, and the task now is to dissociate them. Once that happens, then there can be some thinking forward about how the airstrikes can stop permanently and how a political process can start. Now, this is why Russia is urging other countries, and it drafted a UN resolution on Tuesday last night, urging countries around the world, including the US, to put more pressure on Sunni groups, on other moderate rebel groups, to break away from Jabhat Fateh al-Sham. And this is the reason why a meeting is taking place in Geneva today, Wednesday, which involves military experts. Now, diplomatic efforts haven't so far managed to deal with Jabhat Fateh al-Sham. The thinking is that they need military expertise, and hopefully that will be a step in the right direction.
And what do you think is going to happen on Thursday during that 8-hour pause in the fighting? Is that going to hold?
Well, at the moment, it looks like it is going to halt. As we know, the Russians halted their airstrikes yesterday, Tuesday, to enable the process to begin. They're saying that 6 corridors will be opened from eastern Aleppo, allowing civilians and rebels with weapons to move away to the nearby province of Idlib, which is also rebel-held. And they're saying the idea is they're calling it a humanitarian pause. And the idea is that the sick and wounded can receive medical attention and any other necessities that they've been lacking for so long. But they're also saying that, you know, if it is a success, if the rebels, if Jabhat Fateh al-Sham do move out, taking their weapons with them, then they may possibly extend this 8-hour window. Now, they've just hinted at this so far, so and it all very much depends on how much of a success it is. But at the same time, the UN is saying that these 8 hours is not enough to get any aid into eastern Aleppo. They're saying that they need about 48 hours, and anything less than that is not really going to be sufficient. They're also saying that they need some security guarantees if this is to work, which they haven't had so far.
Shamim Chowdhury from Gaziantep, thank you very much for that update.